It's the Joseph Bristol Show.
If you enjoy the video, hit the like. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe.
Welcome to another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. On today's episode, the Joseph Bristol Show is just me talking about, life and society and ways that we can make the world a better place and just a conversation. In which case, I hope that you guys will comment and we can talk and just have open dialogue about making the world a better place. Not only making the world a better place by becoming better people, right? And it's my way of getting out certain ideas and thoughts into the world that I want out there. So with that being said, today, this is a long time coming. I want to talk about consumerism. So there's two ways that I thought about doing a lot of my Joseph Bristol episodes, right? So there's one way where as soon as I get a thought or an idea, I just record myself. Wherever I'm at, I pull out my phone and I make a video about the idea or the thought, and I talk into the camera. And then later that day or later that week or whenever I get around to it, I would attach that video to this part of the video of whatever it is I'm talking about, right? So today I was talking to somebody about cell phone, kids age and when they should get a phone, in which case I'm actually working on making a video on that because I didn't really get to get into my ideas and get a good conversation with the person because of the location and the time of when the conversation takes place. A good conversation takes 30 minutes to an hour. A good conversation when you're really getting into the nooks and the crannies, you know what I mean? When you're really getting into whatever it is that you guys are talking about, because you want to understand what the person is saying, why they're saying what they're saying, right? And are they correct? And then obviously from that point on, you would adjust your thinking or they would adjust their thinking. So it's not necessarily about convincing someone of your idea, but if you know 2 + 2 is 4 and this person is walking around saying 2 + 2 is 5, I would hope that you would correct them, that you would help them and you would explain to them and show them why 2 + 2 is actually 4 and not 5, right? Because we want to make the world a better place by ensuring that all of us understand the truths of our world, our society, our existence, etc., whatever. So, but that isn't today's episode about the kids' age cell phone. That's going to be another video, another episode. I'm working on it. But today's episode is going to be about consumerism. Okay? So we on the whiteboard today. All right? So today's episode is about consumerism. And the way I started to do it was as soon as I got the idea, I started writing down talking points. And so I'm going to go through the talking points, maybe scratch them off, write new ones, whatever. But that's why I need the whiteboard. So first, consumerism, bad for the environment. This is true, but it's not true. First off, before we even get into this, it's important that we all understand what consumerism is. Consumerism is effectively just, a society that consumes, that buys things, that just always wants more. It's never satisfied, right? So Americans waste a massive amount of food. I don't even know the numbers, but you can Google it, you can look it up. We waste a lot of food. A lot of food gets thrown away. The stores throw away a lot of food. We have a huge wasting. Another problem with Americans and consumerism is we buy a lot of clothes. We don't even need so many clothes, but we just buy up a bunch of clothes all the time, right? So these things add to the environmental impact. A brand new phone every single year, gotta update your phone, get the latest phone. These things, again, they add to the environmental impact. These products that we're consuming, they require material from the earth. So that's why it's bad for the environment. Water consumption, you know what I mean? All the land consumption, land that could be used to house people, to grow food, etc., right? So bad for the environment. Good for capitalism and corporations, profit society. right? Because that's how consumerism works. Now, another thing I was thinking about too, there's a problem in America when it comes to capitalism, especially these Donald Trump people. If they really believe, if you can't say that you agree with tariffs and turn around and say you believe in capitalism and you love capitalism, because if you are taxing someone for selling a cheaper product, you know why they so hard on China and these electrical vehicles? China has an electrical vehicle for $10,000, 10,000 US dollars, 7,000 US dollars. China, they have fully electrical vehicles in their country for that much, right? So what is the US government scared of? They're scared that if China brought 10,000 vehicles to America, people would buy them up. They would literally take over the car market, because why would you go out and buy a $20,000, $30,000 car? If you're poor, $10,000 for a brand new electrical car that you never have to buy gas again, you can charge it up in your apartment overnight. Why would you not do that? You know what I mean? So they scared of that, so they slap them with the tariffs. They hit them with the tariffs. They tax them overly. But in a true capitalistic society, right, because the Donald Trumpers say, oh, capitalism, we love it, it's so great. Okay, then there would be no tariffs, because you would support the idea of a company coming in with cheaper products and undercutting their competition. If Ford, BMW, all these other people want to, beat out this other Chinese company, they would just make $10,000 cars as well. And if they can't, well, then too bad. We're going to buy the cheaper option, right? So it's good for capitalism and corporations. Okay, citizens and consumers control corporations with our buying power. We determine prices and conduct. Now, this is probably the most important part. This is what caused the video to start. I was talking to somebody and they were talking and I was trying to explain to them how we determine what these corporations do. If we don't buy their products, they're gonna ask, why is no one buying our product? And now if they go online, they go on social media, they talk to people, and everywhere they go, majority of the people are telling them, oh, we don't buy your products because you have slave labor. We don't buy your products because you destroy the environment. We don't buy your products because the richest man in the world owns the company and he pays the lowest people minimum wage. We don't support that. As a society, we don't support that. As a world, we don't support that. If you want our money, if you want our business, you will treat people with respect and dignity. You'll pay them a livable wage, especially when you're talking about corporations that make literally billions with a B, billions of dollars a year. They're making millions. There's some who make millions. There's companies that make billions a year. Okay, if you're making that type of money, you can pay people. Even a janitor should be making $70,000, $50,000 a year, because you can afford to pay people a livable wage. So pay them the wage, right? We control the corporations. We just don't have to buy their products. I won't buy your stuff. That's why they say if you want to knock off Google, if you want to get rid of Google and stop their dominance of the search engines, stop Googling things. Go to Bing, go to pre-search, go to Yahoo search, use other search engines. And this will decrease Google's overall power in the search engine game. You don't have to get a Gmail. You can use other sources, right? Corporations should not be considered, this is the one that we're on now. Corporations should not be considered people. The people at the top or the worker responsible should be accountable. So if something happens and someone gets hurt, someone dies, like Boeing, people getting hurt on the planes, dying on the planes, the corporation should be, sued or whatever. They should have to pay the victims. I'm not saying that part isn't important. But the people at the top, the person who didn't screw in that bolt, which is why the door flew off and that guy flew out of the plane and died, that didn't actually happen, but it's a scenario. If it did happen, who should be responsible? The people that should be responsible is the person who did not screw on that bolt so that the door wouldn't fly off. And two, the people at the top. The people at the top should most definitely be responsible. They're making the most money. They have the responsibility to ensure that the company is running at a profitable thing, and that the company is taking care of their employees, and the company is taking care of the consumer. Okay, so on to the next thing. Regulations are good. Don't let nobody tell you regulations are bad. Don't let nobody tell you regulations are, over-regulating. No. Regulations are good, especially when it protects the consumer, the planet, and society as a whole. That's when you know the regulations are good. If there was no regulations on food, they could serve us anything. I mean, they already are putting poison in the milk and the water and they're putting all kinds of crap and chemicals in our food. These things shouldn't be allowed. We shouldn't allow them to literally poison us for what? So they can make a profit? So some, not even all, because it's different. Let's say Kraft was poisoning us. They got, they are. The ketchup is full of sugar. Like, it's a crazy amount of sugar in ketchup. You should look at the bottle, right? So they're making millions of dollars off of this, ketchup that's full of sugar that people are consuming and eating. If the people who worked at Kraft was making crazy amounts of money, not millions, obviously, the corporation makes millions. So the workers are making hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. If that's what's happening, again, I don't really support the poisoning of the people, but I can support that because I know, okay, I want to make some money. Let me go work for Kraft. Let me go work for this corporation that's making millions of dollars, because I know if I get on there and I add value to the corporation, I too will make thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Almost dropped my water. Right? So that's what I mean with the regulations. The regulations are very, very important because this protects the consumer, protects us from the corporations getting greedy. Again, look at Boeing. They had all these problems with their planes. Oh, for what? Because of profit. They trying to rush the planes out, sell the planes, make the money, make the profit. Okay, this is a problem. This is no bueno, no good, man. You know what I mean? Okay, so where we at now? Corporate donations in politics should be illegal. Absolutely. This is a big one. We need to get on top of our politicians and basically tell them that we want them to make it an outlaw. And any politician that does not support the idea of taking away corporate money being donated to politicians and corporations. The only thing a corporation can donate to should be, cities. That's it. You can't even say, oh, we're going to give the police $100,000. No. Give your $100,000 to the city where the police work. And the city will distribute that money to whatever the budget is for that year. Fixing the roads, more after school care, more libraries, better pay for teachers. You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. But they shouldn't be allowed to give their money to politicians or public sector work things and stuff like that. Should be law. All minimum wage keeps up with inflation. Minimum wage, that's what that was supposed to say. Keeps up with inflation. Absolutely. I think the minimum wage should be tied to inflation. If the cost of goods goes up, our pay should also rise equally. So now it's on the Federal Reserve to manage inflation correctly for the corporations, because the corporations will want inflation to go down, because if prices go down, now they don't have to keep paying people more. So prices go down, the pay stays the same. As soon as the cost of living goes above a certain amount, the pay starts to increase with the cost as well. And that's the way our minimum wage system should work. Automatically, it shouldn't be voted on to increase minimum wage. That should just automatically work based on inflation. Corporations should pay biggest amounts of taxes, yes, and no buying up the competition. Absolutely. And a land tax. We should tax the land, not the houses and things like that. Tax the land, because the land belongs to everybody. The world doesn't belong to anyone, not America, not nobody. The world belongs to all of us. So for someone to occupy a piece of the world, they should have to pay everyone, which is the tax, because you're occupying this piece of land that could have been used for anything that anybody wanted to use it for. But since you're using it, you're occupying it, you should pay to help all of us. And that's what I think as far as like corporations paying taxes. And definitely corporations should pay more taxes because they got more money. Just like the billionaires, millionaires, these people have more money. They can afford to pay more in taxes. The lower people at the bottom, there's more poor people than rich people. Yes, obviously, but that should encourage the rich people to ensure that the poor people are making a sufficient amount of money that they too can pay taxes. You know, that's just my idea, my thought on consumerism. But ultimately, our society is built on consumerism. That's how America functions. We buy things because America, we don't make anything. We don't really ship anything overseas. We mainly just consume. We buy things. That's just what we do. That's how our society works the most, right? So with that being said, man, this video got a little too long. You know, most JB shows are about 10, 20 minutes, something like that. But thanks for watching another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. That's all. Remember, man, we all out here trying to do the same thing. Survive and be happy. Y'all stay blessed, man. I don't know, I might make a part 2 to this video because this was good. And I kind of rushed it because of the time limit and whatnot. But yeah, man, y'all stay blessed, man.